Alright. I don't know how well this is going to work. Let's start over here. A couple things I did forget to finish showing in case anybody wanted to see. Get some light over here. Look at that beautiful thing. Zoom out. Alright. So the hydraulic lines that I ordered for the clutch. So they come up, I've got them zip tied right there. And they go down in there. They are a little bit long, but I expected that. Better be too long than too short. I've already bled the system, which made it nice. So they come up and do a little bit of a loop, get underneath the brake booster. The one line, as you can see, goes right there to the slave cylinder, or master cylinder. And then I've got the tank for it right there. And if you notice this in back here, that is for the bleeding. That's long enough where I can pop this loose and squirt it right back into the reservoir. So, worked out quite nice. Everything's out of the way, away from the steering shaft. I can get all the right places, but back in there. Would like to do something different about those plug wires, but they work. Some JDM speed plug wire holders. They keep them from touching one another. You got the red boots on there, and those headers. I did sandblast those and ceramic coat them. The ceramic coat just didn't hang in there. That reminds me, I forgot to put power steering fluid in my other truck today. I'll maybe do that before I'm done tonight. Maybe not, maybe so, I don't know. Transmission cross member. This is the old one I made. As you can see, just a flat piece of 16th inch steel. I did put in some thicker pieces here, just for mounting, to strengthen that part up. And this here is just cheap, a piece of leftover metal. Forget exactly what it was from. Threw it on there just for some added strength. It's not very thick, but this whole thing weighs about 10 pounds. So I got over here this piece of 1.25" chromoly. It started off at 7 feet, and now it's about 18 inches. So made a new cross member out of that. Alright. I can lay down here. With my butt being short, makes it kind of difficult. Alright. So I can get underneath here. I can do it with one hand. Alright. We got some light. So, right there. So before the drive shaft hoop loop I had directly welded onto here because the transmission only had to come out a couple inches, so there was plenty enough room between it and the end of the transmission without it affecting anything. So with this in here, it still may have enough room, but I wanted to make sure it was something that I could just get out of the way. So you can see back here, you can see how this cross member here, that's directly welded to the frame on both sides for the e-brake and whatever else it was there for. Yeah, e-brake cables and stuff. Nice and clean and shiny here, so ground all that down nice and smooth. Threw a fresh coat of paint on it. Keep it from rusting. So the new drive shaft hoop loop comes out. I can continue moving around a little bit, and it goes over on both sides to the frame. Didn't previously do it like this because I didn't want anything sticking down lower than the frame. Now this does, probably about 2.5 inches. But I've also got that back there for the 4-link. It sticks down. I'd need to chop that off, make it shorter, bring it up some, take 2 or 3 inches out of it, because every now and again it will catch on my trailer when I'm loading or unloading, depending on what kind of flat ground I'm on or not on. So I am going to get different bolts for these, get flange head bolts. I did buy 2, but they end up being too long. The one that comes with this poly mount was only 3/4 of an inch long, and this plate here is about 1/4 inch or 3/8 thick, so 3/4 inch long bolt would not work. And checking out my weld, check out those ones. That is not as pretty. Other ones over here, I had to dial in my welder. It didn't want to weld right. But on these mounts right there, I did want to add some type of gusset, so that's what it looks like. Because again, this is, this plate here is just 1/8 inch steel. Cut out a fresh piece for it, and then this piece here is just a piece I cut off the side. My voice sounds funny because I'm trying to look in a tight spot. Alright, so I've got my wires connected now. There's the speed sensor. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it. Yeah, right there. Reverse module lockout. And then we got the backup light and all the wires, including the wideband O2 sensor, all zip tied up there. I pulled all the extra slack of the wires back up through the firewall, so that looks pretty good. As you can see with the transmission, I think I actually got more space with this one for clearance here than what I did with the other one. And then there's the quick connect fittings up in there, up away from the headers. Feel like I got a sneeze. Bless me. One other thing is right where that pipe goes across the exhaust, it has a very small amount of clearance. When I had this off before I put the draft shaft in the last time, before I painted it, I marked it. That way I could hit it with a hammer and put a dent in it, and I forgot to. But as you can see over here, plenty of clearance on that side. So the exhaust may take and end up ruining the paint on a small section of this. May not, I don't know. Not going to worry about it until I pull this back off again, which I don't plan on doing that anytime soon. So, didn't have to change anything on the exhaust. It still runs back the same route that it had before. It does come closer to the transmission. It's got a little bit of space. Flip it around. Got a little bit of space, as you can see, between it and the mount. It should be enough, and if not, I'll keep an eye on it. That's a new slip yoke. I put some lube on her, so it's got proper clearance. Did have to shorten it. I think it ended up being 2.5 inches shorter what it needed with the longer transmission versus the NV3500. Yeah, my exhaust sticks down. Yeah, I do race it with that on there. It is a straight through design Borla X-pipe. Sounds amazing. I gotta get out from under here now. See how easy this might be. Start to move. Be nice to have a concrete floor. I gotta turn to my side when I want to get up and down. I have to stay off of my right butt cheek, seeing as it is sore. So I think that covers it. So next video, this thing should be out of the garage. We'll take her for a spin and do some burnouts and go fast and do hoodlum type of stuff. So thank you guys for sticking around. We'll catch you later. Bye.